and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be the 11th video in my series for adult coloring tips and tricks and how to improve your coloring skills. And today the focus of this video is going to be heavy-handed colorists. And I'm going to go over a few things with you in this video. I'm going to do a little bit of a tutorial in Romantic Country by Erie. We've been using this coloring book for this series all along, so all of the previous videos you will see me using this coloring book as well, and I will make sure that the playlist for this series is linked in the upper right hand corner if you are interested in going back to see the previous tutorials. I am going to give you some tips and tricks and show you exactly how to use your colored pencils so that you can alleviate the pressure that you are putting on your pencil. I'm going to do a little bit of some coloring examples and kind of talk my way through it and explain to you why I hold the pencil the way that I do and the different pressures that you can put on your pencil and lay your colors down on the page. We're going to go over some pencil options and how to choose what might work best for you, as well as my suggestions. If you enjoyed this video, please do make sure that you give it a thumbs up because that really helps my channel out a lot. And if you are not already subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel and turn on your bell notifications so that you're always notified when I post new content. If you check the description box down below, I will have everything down there that you see used in this video. You will also find a link for my Facebook group if you would like to join us over there, as well as my email list and a link to my Patreon. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Here we are back in Romantic Country by Erie, and we are going to use the same page that I've been using in all of the previous videos in this series. Got 3 pencils here from my Prismacolor set, and I've got Sand, which is PC 940, Goldenrod, which is PC 1034, and Light Umber, which is PC 941. And I'm going to start here just by using my highlight color. I usually lay that one down first, but I want to show you exactly how we hold the pencil when we are trying to be a little bit more light-handed. You would just hold the pencil way far back like this, and the further back that you are holding your hand on the pencil, you are going to have much less pressure on the tip of the pencil or the lead of the pencil. So if I just come in here and I hold my hand way back here and I just lay down some of this highlight color, you can still see the pigment laying down just the way that it should. And I can go back over it with another layer. Now remember, the Prismacolors are wax-based, so when I go to the oil-based pencils, you're going to see how they lay down much differently. And I've not used the polychrome. I'm going to use the polychromos, and I've not used the polychromos yet in this book, so I don't know how they're going to perform on this paper. Now I've got my goldenrod, and I'm going to do the same thing, holding my hand way far back on the pencil. And notice, because these are wax-based, they're just going to kind of very easily just blend together. And by doing this and holding my hand so far back, I am stopping myself from being able to put too much pressure on the lead of the pencil. So I'm not going to experience that breakage that a lot of people complain about with the Prismacolors. But there's really no need to put all that pressure on your pencils. And when you're coloring, you want to go very slowly anyway. I always do. If you guys have watched my previous videos, you will notice that when I'm coloring, I am a very slow colorist and I don't ever do anything very quickly. Of course, I'm usually doing a tutorial too and explaining to y'all how to do something. So now I have my light umber And this one is a lot shorter, but if I continue to just hold my pencil at the side and I leave my hands way far back, I can still add some color here. And I'm just going to come in here on the edges and do this. Now usually when I am coloring, or if you've watched my tutorials, I will hold my hand a little bit closer, but I've kind of trained myself to not be so heavy-handed anymore. And it takes a while. It really does take a while to train yourself to be a lot less heavy-handed, because I think a lot of us are heavy-handed just because that is the way that we have always been, and that's just where you start when you start coloring when you are a child, because nobody really ever teaches you not to be so heavy-handed on your pencil. So now I'm going to come back and I'm going to lay down a little bit more of my goldenrod, and I'm going to still keep my hand way back here, and you could see that the colors, it's laying down more pigment and the colors are still very nicely blending together. And I'm just doing it on the outside because I want to keep my highlight color on the inside. And remember, this is a tutorial just to kind of show you how to alleviate putting too much pressure on the lead of your pencil. So it's not necessarily a coloring tutorial, so I'm just kind of laying the colors down and showing you exactly how the pencils work so that you can make a determination as to which pencil you think would work best for you. And then I'm going to come back with the sand, and I'm going to blend it through a little bit more in a circular motion and kind of pull all of this through. And the other reason that you want to be much more light-handed is because if you are too heavy-handed, you're actually pushing into the tooth of the paper. This particular paper in this book is a smoother paper, so it doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of tooth, but when you are working with paper that is actually made for colored pencils, that just really gives you that room to lay down layer after layer after layer and really create that blendability that you want with your colored pencils, that really allows you to be really, really creative. If you keep going on and on with the heavy pressure of your hand, you're basically killing off all of the tooth of the paper, and you do not want to do that, because then you won't be able to get any more layers down. This technique is really helpful if you are trying to preserve some of that tooth of the paper until you're ready to come back and burnish. Now, if I was ready to come back and really add a lot more pigment to this, then it's okay. You have to be more careful though, because the closer you get to the tip of the pencil, the more pressure you're actually applying on to the lead of the pencil. So if I wanted to and I was ready to just burnish this out and get rid of all of the tooth in the paper, then I can come back and add more color by moving my fingers down closer to the tip of the pencil. But you still have to be very careful not to be heavy-handed when you're doing this. But see how the closer I come to the tip of the pencil, it's allowing me to add a little bit more pressure onto the tip. And as I do that, it is laying more color down onto my image. And then when you're ready to really just burnish it all out and bring all of those colors together, then I would just come back in a circular motion and add my last layer. And then in that case, it's okay to get a little bit closer to the lead of the pencil, but then again, be very careful with the pressure that you're applying to the tip of that pencil. And then I'm just going to go through and I'm going to make sure this is all burnished out. And of course, like I always like to do, I'm leaving a little bit of the white of the paper there in the center. And if this was an actual coloring tutorial, I'd probably come back more and make it prettier and whatever, but I'm just trying to show you how to alleviate applying that pressure to your pencil. So basically, you're just going to hold the pencil, like I said, very far back, like this. And the closer that you get towards the tip of the pencil, you are actually creating more pressure on the tip of that pencil. So when you first start, just always go slow. It's not a race to get anything, any one object, or even your entire coloring page done in a certain amount of time. The whole point of coloring is just to sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself and just be with yourself. Maybe turn on some relaxing music in the background and just really enjoy what you're doing. But that is how the wax-based pencils or the Prismacolors are going to lay down. So if you feel like you are still just a very heavy-handed person, then a better option for you would probably be to go with the set of 120 Artezas, because they are going to be much more forgiving. And as you move closer and closer to the lead of the pencil, when you get ready to burnish your colors together, you're not going to have to be as concerned while you're learning not to be so heavy-handed. Now, if you were to use a oil-based pencil, I'm going to show you that now. Now, let me go ahead and grab my polychromos, because those are going to lay down much differently. And again, I'm not sure how they're going to lay down on this paper, because my polychromos, I think, or I feel like a lot more tooth, and this paper is rather smooth. But I think that I'm going to color in this little hanging watering can right here and kind of show you exactly how they lay down. Now, an oil-based pencil is going to force you to be much more light-handed, but they also have a harder lead on the pencil, so it kind of works to your benefit in both of those ways. But then again, like I said earlier, there is more of a learning curve when you're using an oil-based pencil rather than using a wax-based pencil, just because you have to learn how to lay them down in layers so that you can actually see the pigment on the paper. They will get darker and darker and more vibrant as you lay the layers down on top of one another while they blend together. I picked 3 colors for my polychromos, and so I have, I believe it says 182 brown ochre, and this one says Caput Mortuum Violet 263. That did not look like violet when I laid it down, because I did check these off to the side. It didn't look like it had any violet in it. And this one says Dark Naples Ochre 184. So I've got these 3 colors here, and I'm going to start coloring in this tin. I'm going to use these, and I'm going to show you exactly how not to lay these down and do it the same way as I did with the wax-based pencils and still not apply a lot of pressure. And you're going to see how differently these lay down. Oh, maybe this does look violet. I thought it was a brown. Well, we're just going to get really creative. So you can see that I'm holding my hand way far back up the pencil. I'm going to come in with my second color. No, these are actually working really nicely in this book. And I'm using really light pressure again because my hand is still, it's not as far back as it was, but it's still pretty far back. And I'm holding my pencil to the side. And with these, since they're oil-based pencil, can you see how if I go over the areas where the other color was, it just kind of blends right into the color and layers another color right into it? Is that not the coolest thing ever? Because your wax-based pencils are not necessarily going to work so much in that way. These do go down very differently, and they work in a very different way. So now I'm going to come back with my highlight color, and I'm going to add this just kind of in the center. And then you can come over and you could kind of just layer the brighter color in certain areas if you wanted to. And it just layers right over the other color. And this is forcing you to have a very light hand, because even if I were to push harder, it's not necessarily going to lay down a lot more pigment. The colors in an oil-based pencil are going to get more vibrant as you continue to come back and just lay more layers down. See how all of a sudden I came back with this color and now it looks much more vibrant, and I still have my hand pretty far back. But like I said earlier, these are going to be a little bit of a learning curve if you are coming from using a wax-based pencil. They are a lot of fun to use though, and they may be very helpful if you are very heavy-handed. Let's go ahead and come back with the other color and see how see all of a sudden all that pigment now, and I'm even holding my hand so far back and it's still laying down so much pigment. These polychromos are very pigmented pencils, but you do need to have patience with them because you need to continually come back and just create more layers. And with these especially, you don't want to be heavy-handed because, like I said earlier, you are just getting rid of all of the tooth of the paper, which you don't want to do. And when I'm using my polychromos, I like to do the same thing where I kind of leave a little bit of white in the center. But these are so super cool because with the polychromos, you can come back, like see where you see this much darker area over here? I'm kind of layering a little bit of this much brighter color right over it. And it just creates a whole nother color. They are great for blending colors together. See how it just kind of brightened that up? I don't know if you can see that as well on camera, but it just brightened up that area and changed the shade of the color. And then I can come back down here and add another layer, and it's just going to darken that up. And see how the colors are kind of different from here to here, and this one's much more brightened up because I laid that really pretty yellow color right in there. But that's how the oil-based pencils are going to work. You're just going to keep on coming back and adding more pigment. And oh my goodness, I'm loving how these pencils are laying down on this paper. So maybe they are not better with more toothy paper. Maybe I should be trying my polychromos on paper that are, or books that have paper that are more smooth. But look how pretty that is. Now, if you wanted to apply more pressure on your pencil, you would just move a little bit more forward to the tip of the pencil. Still try to hold it sideways though. You never want to be right up on the tip of the pencil and color like this. Never, ever, ever. I mean, I can do that, but by doing that, you're also getting rid of the sharp tip on your pencil, and you don't want to be coming back and having to sharpen away your very expensive pencils. I mean, especially when you're using something like polychromos, because these are not cheap. I think the 120 set is very hard to get below $165, and $165 is a really good price for these. But you can see that with the oil-based pencils, I'm just coming back and I'm laying color over color. The colors just kind of blend together in a way that you're not going to get from the wax-based pencils. And you could just keep coming back and doing it, and you can see that even on this smoother paper, because I am not putting so much pressure on the tip of my pencil and making sure that I don't have such a heavy hand, I am able to just get so many layers down, and they just continually layer over the top of the other colors. And I can take my highlight color and go back and just create such a bright highlight all through the entire thing. Can you see that on camera? Because this color here was just so different before, And look, it is just adding more and more pigment and changing the color more and more in this area. And I still have plenty of the white of the paper to get rid of, even using very light pressure. And then if I wanted to leave it lighter over here on this side, I could do that. It's just all about how you lay the colors down. But you don't have to have a heavy hand to be able to do this. But both these and the Prismacolors are very, very pigmented, and they're going to go down very differently. And you just kind of have to decide, if you're a heavy-handed colorist, which pencils you feel like are going to work best for you. Let me know in the comments which pencils you feel like work best for you. And also let me know if you have been able to overcome being heavy-handed. It's very, very hard to do. It's not a skill that you're just going to learn overnight, because like I said, we are heavy-handed from a very young age. And it's just like anything else. If you have had a habit or something that you've done your entire life, and you have to all of a sudden change that, you're not just going to be able to change it with the snap of a finger and you've just all of a sudden learned a new skill. Life is just not that way with anything, right? So, I don't know, this paper is still really, I mean, the paper is really, really smooth, and it's still taking layer after layer, and these colors are just blending together so beautifully. Now, you can tell, like up here, these were wax-based pencils. These were done with my Prismacolors. And then, of course, these are the Prismacolors, or not the Prismacolors, the Polychromos, the oil-based pencil. And you could see the difference in how they look. Now, of course, this one up here, because I was just trying to demonstrate how not to be so heavy-handed with your pencils, this is not my best artwork, I guess I would say. I'm probably gonna come back and fix that. This page has just been used all through this series for several different examples on how to improve your coloring skills and different tips and tricks over what now, 11 videos. So there is a lot in this series. If you want to go back and look through it, you will find lots of things that will help you improve your coloring skills. I hope that you're able to do that, or you have the time. It's a lot of videos that you could just sit back and watch or listen to even in the background. I want to talk about are some different pencil options. I know a lot of you that follow me are beginner colorists or kind of in the beginning part of your coloring journey, and so I just wanted to be able to provide you with some options if you are a heavy-handed colorist, and kind of decide exactly what type of pencil you feel would be best for you, whether it is an oil-based pencil or a wax-based pencil. So these are my Prismacolors, and Prismacolors are probably one of the most mentioned pencils in the coloring community, and they are wax-based, so they are a wax-based option. I would say that these are the most popular wax-based option, and the most popular oil-based option is probably the Polychromos. So these are my Prismacolors. These here are probably, or these are just all replacements. And my actual set starts here on this side, and then I just have them in the color order that I love. I know a lot of people complain about the Prismacolors and how soft they are, and they have breakage issues. And so I used to have the same issue, but ever since I got my Doll 133, I no longer have that issue. I've never had an issue again with my Prismacolors. It sharpens the pencils with a beautiful lead. This is the lead that it gives your pencils. And that is the best way for me to color. I know that we're all different, but that really helps me when I'm coloring with my Prismacolors to have a nice sharp lead. And if you've got a sharp lead, that is going to really help you to not be heavy-handed, because if you're heavy-handed on that sharper lead, then your pencil is going to break, because these are very, very soft. But these are an option. These here are my 120 set of Artezas, And I love these pencils. I have a ton of tutorials using these pencils in my adult coloring series for beginners. Let me just go ahead and flip through here so you could see the colors. But this is another great option for those of you that don't want something like a Prismacolor that is extremely, extremely soft. You may be a little bit more heavy-handed and you're trying to kind of learn not to be heavy-handed. But these would be a great option because they are going to be a little bit harder. They're still going to blend very, very well. And look at some of the beautiful colors that are in here. I love the colors in this set. This is probably my second favorite, just under the Prismacolors. But I don't know, I kind of go back and forth between these and the Black Widows. So this is another wonderful option for you if you want something that's a little bit harder. I used these pencils all through my adult coloring for beginner series. So if you would like to see some tutorials of me using these pencils so you could see how they lay down, actually my most popular video on my channel was actually a tutorial that was done with these pencils. And so you can go back and look at that video. I'll try to link that video up in the upper right hand corner, but you can go back and look at that video and you could see how well these pencils perform. But the wax-based pencils are just going to blend together very, very easily, and you will be very happy with the Artezas. Another great option for wax-based pencils are the Black Widows. Now these you can buy in sets. There is a total of 144. There are some gorgeous colors in this one too. But if you just wanted to start out with the first 3 sets, you can do that and have plenty of colors. And I think they're like $17.57 or something like that per pack. And so you can just buy the first 3 packs and then add on as you need to with the skin tones. And then the last set, which was the Monarch set, which had a lot of really pretty pastels in it, and I think a lot of greens. But this is what they look like. I have a video on my channel where I put all of these in perfect color family order. So if you have all 144 pencils and you want to put them in order, I will link that video in the upper right hand corner. But this is another great option. I have tons of tutorials on my channel as well for these pencils. And you can go back and see how well they blend together and how beautiful they are. A lot of those are in Joanna Basford's World of Flowers. I love how these pencils perform in that book specifically. So this is another great option, and they are going to blend beautifully. So this is a more budget friendly, and you could kind of build on it as you can afford it, which is a really, really great option for those of us that can't afford to go out and buy a whole set of Prismacolors. These are my set of polychromos, and I'll just flip through here so you could see the color range that you get in these. This is the 120 set. They are wonderful pencils, but they are an oil-based pencil. So this is your choice for an oil-based pencil, but this would be an artist grade set, and they are going to be harder than a wax-based pencil, and they are going to lay down differently. So these are going to lay down by laying light layers, layer upon layer, until you just kind of build the pigment up on the paper as they blend together. So they work differently than a wax-based pencil, whereas a wax-based pencil, you're going to lay it down on the paper and it's just going to very easily blend together. And these are going to have a little bit more of a learning curve. So I don't know, if you are a heavy-handed colorist, I would suggest probably going with something to start like an Arteza pencil or possibly even the Black Widows. For those of you that can't afford polychromos and you are maybe a beginner and you just want to try out some oil-based pencils, these are a fantastic option. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know that I am a little bit overly obsessed with these pencils. The fact that they are square, they are so different. The color range is beautiful. I love the way that they lay down on the pencil. They are not, they're not as hard as a polychromos, at least I don't feel like they are when I lay them down. They lay down like an oil-based pencil, but they are softer like a wax-based pencil, if that makes sense. So these are a really good option, and you can get these on Amazon when they're available. They kind of go in and out of stock on Amazon, so they've been a little bit difficult to get. But I know a lot of you have purchased these pencils lately after seeing my review on them, and I will try to make sure to link my review. I also have a video where I put all of these in perfect color family order, and I have a video for that as well as the swatch sheet for it available in my Facebook group. So this is another great option, and you get 120 pencils for only like right around $33, I think, and sometimes there is a coupon for them. I hope this part of the video gave you some really great options for some oil-based pencils and some wax-based pencils, both artist grade as well as very budget friendly. I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something, and please understand that, again, this isn't something that's going to happen overnight. You need to just kind of practice over time, and the biggest thing to practice is just where to put your fingers on the pencil and how to hold the pencil, and just always make sure that you are holding the pencil sideways and not putting all of that pressure right on the tip of the pencil as you are either laying your layers down with your oil-based pencils or blending your colors together with your wax-based pencils. If there was anything that you saw in this video that you are interested in getting for yourself, please check the description box below. I will have everything linked down there. And I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. Happy coloring. Bye.